What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a brand new Liverpool FC news video where we talk about Jurgen Klopp potentially conceding the title to Manchester City. He said yesterday that if we play like we did against Leicester City, we don't have to think about catching Manchester City, we won't have a chance of being even involved in the title race. But if we play our game, our footballing games, we have to see how often, how many points we can get, and we will see what that means. So basically Jurgen Klopp has called out the Liverpool players to wake up and to put in better and more consistent performances, because this season Liverpool have been sometimes as good as Man City, maybe even better, but at other times we have been very reluctant to take our chances, and also we have been pretty suspectable at the back. I think in many games we are taking too many risks because this Man City team is so good that you just know that every time we drop points it feels like a defeat. Even a draw against Brentford, against Brighton, against Tottenham, it felt like a defeat because there is so little margin for error. You basically have to get 95 to 100 points if you want to win the title nowadays. Since Pep Guardiola became the Man City manager, they had a 98-point season, a 100-point season, and even last season with 86 points, they were by far the best team out of anybody, really. So do you think Liverpool are out of the title race, or do you think, like Jurgen Klopp is right, that if Liverpool put in too many performances like we did against Leicester, like we did against West Ham, then Liverpool won't be in the conversation for the title come March or April, and Liverpool could have a 9-point gap between ourselves and Manchester City by the time we play Chelsea, even maybe a 12-point gap, because I think Man City play Brentford and then they play Arsenal before Liverpool take on Chelsea. And I mean, that's a must-win game for Chelsea and a must-win game for Liverpool, and it's perfect for Man City because whoever wins that game, the other one will be probably out of the title race. And it's so annoying because if Salah scores the penalty, if Mane scores his chance, Liverpool probably win this game. But these are the kind of margins for error, how small it is between winning the title and not. And you just actually you can't drop points in this title race. That's the way it is, because Man City have put 9 games winning in a row. And that's the kind of run that Liverpool need to put together if we want to have any hopes of any chances of winning the title. This is the kind of kick up the backside that Liverpool probably needed, but we already had a defeat against West Ham, draws against Brentford and Brighton, and it looks like Liverpool haven't learned from it. Jurgen Klopp said, I don't have a proper explanation for the Leicester result and the game, but finding this explanation is my main concern and not the gap between Liverpool and Manchester City. And Jurgen Klopp has refused to blame Salah for missing the penalty, and he's right, because Salah scored pretty much all of his penalties for the last 4 years. There is not a little bit of blame or whatever on Salah. He scores usually from this situation, Jurgen Klopp said, but tonight he didn't. It was a little bit like the whole game was. Mo is part of the team and usually he's better in this situation, like the team is usually better in a football game. Tonight we weren't, and that's why we lost. And what is absolutely bonkers is that Liverpool have scored in 34 consecutive games in the Premier League, which is pretty much a whole season, and still we find ourselves 6 points behind Manchester City. We needed obviously some effort not to score tonight. We had quite a few chances and we were close, Jurgen Klopp said. It would have made the game better actually, but if I would sit here, and I know it's easy to say, but we have had won it 2-0 or 2-1, which was obviously possible. I wouldn't have liked the game anyway. You can say these things like the dirty games are very important, and that's all true, but tonight I didn't like a lot in our football game, to be honest. That's not cool, that's not why we do it. So we have to do better, and we have a few days to talk it through, think it through, improve and go again. And Jurgen Klopp was very honest in his post-match interview, saying that if we play like we did against Leicester, we won't be in the title race. He also said we were just not really ourselves. So we started okay, I can't say differently, like what I said to other reporters. I think we started okay. I don't like 100% the intensity even in the beginning of the game. But sometimes we have starts like this, but then we lost the rhythm and we never really found it back. At least we had moments where we could have played much better. They played the diamond tonight, at least for a while in the first half. And there is no system in the world which is perfect. That means you can use these kind of things. And especially in the diamond, if you fix the last line, you can play left and right and shoot left and right of the 6. That makes it really tricky. That's quite a challenge for protection, because they had Madison as a number 10 and Iheanacho and Vardy up front, so it doesn't feel comfortable. But you can play that. For these situations you cannot and should not take always the obvious thing. When you have the ball free and you can cross and players are in the box, these kind of things, we forced it a little bit too early. We crossed too early the balls in the first half instead of passing the extra pass, and if you do that, all of a sudden the situation looks completely different. We tried to change that at halftime, but for some reason it didn't click tonight really. They scored the goal, it was clear we were under pressure, great atmosphere, we were pushing them but didn't use the chances, missed free headers and all these kind of things. In the end, what I told everybody who was responsible for the Leicester performance tonight, well deserved. They deserve to win. Even Virgil van Dijk said at least Leicester deserved to win. The story is actually nice. One of the guys who was constantly talking about we should not play the 26th and then the 28th, plays on the 28th, and he loses against the team that played on the 26th and the 28th. Funny story, I know, so I really think in a really strange game from our side, Leicester deserved the 3 points. And yeah, that's the problem, like nobody saw this coming. Leicester had very little rest, they had a lot of injuries, and yet it was Liverpool who lacked the intensity. Leicester, of course, were comfortable just sitting back and playing on the counter-attack. And it worked for them, that's the so annoying thing, because of Liverpool. No excuses tonight, yesterday. It was Liverpool who beat themselves and not Leicester who beat us, because if Liverpool scored their chances, no question, Leicester would have lost 3-1, 4-1, something like that. And Liverpool created by far the better chances. We just didn't take them, and every time Liverpool missed a chance, Leicester grew in confidence. The crowd got louder and louder. By the way, some of the chants by the Leicester fans were absolutely despicable, and I had a soft spot for Leicester, but that's no more because of their fans, 30,000 of them singing about poverty in Liverpool, feed the Scouser and all that nonsense. Absolutely shameful chants by the Leicester City fans. Of course, not all of them, but some of them. And Jurgen Klopp was hurting, it was pretty clear. He said it was not our plan to give Man City the chance to run away in the Premier League. And Virgil van Dijk has said that Liverpool has to improve if we want to be in the title race. It was obviously down to us. Leicester deserved the win, but I think we were poor in the last third. Virgil said a lot of crosses that Leicester defended well. It was just overall not a good performance, and obviously they didn't create much, but they looked dangerous on the break. The problem was that Liverpool didn't play the way that we know that we can play. We were too impatient, we were rushing things, we were not calm enough on the ball. Too many times, instead of making another pass, we crossed it in, and Leicester were very comfortable defending those crosses. Hardly anything came from that. Why not keep the ball on the ground and pass it around the Leicester City defense? And Van Dijk was very honest. He said, we have to look at ourselves. Everyone has to look in the mirror and improve, and that's what we will do. That's part of football. We will keep trying until the very end, and we created good chances, in my opinion. Unfortunately, today was not the day that it fell into the back of the net. A penalty missed. It can happen. It's very disappointing for us. It's part of football. We have to take this with us and be ready for a very, very big game on Sunday. The problem is I just can't see Man City losing 3 games or drawing 5 or 6. That's what's needed for Liverpool to get involved in the title race. Of course, and Liverpool need to beat Chelsea and need to win a lot of games in a row. Something that we are capable of if we fix our finishing. But the problem is that with Salah and Mane going to the Africa Cup of Nations, we will have 2 of our best goal scorers out, and we will have to rely on Jota. I checked that Salah has 15 goals, 9 assists, so Salah is doing everything he can. Jota is second top scorer with 10 goals, so he's also doing everything that he can. But Mane hasn't scored for 9 games, he hasn't got an assist for 9 games, and that's the problem when you don't have any midfielders who score regularly. That's the problem. Look at Manchester City. They have Bernardo Silva, Raheem Sterling, Gundogan, Kevin De Bruyne, Phil Foden, like 5 midfielders who score regularly. Maybe Sterling is not a midfielder but an attacker, but still that 4 midfielders, De Bruyne, Foden, Bernardo Silva, Gundogan, who score regularly for Man City. Liverpool don't have one. Maybe Jordan Henderson this season, but how many goals he has? Like 3. That's not a great return. And the others, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Naby Keita, they just don't score enough goals. Of course, Fabinho is a defensive midfielder, so that's not his fault. Thiago scores 2 goals this season, but he has been out injured. Naby Keita has been out injured many times. And Henderson, it looks like sometimes in some games that his age is starting to show. Again, he didn't have a brilliant performance against Leicester. He didn't play badly, but he didn't play well either. It was a pretty average performance by Henderson, and we need more from our captain. We need more from our midfield. When you are so reliant on your forward players to score, when they don't score, you have a massive problem. Because then you can't get a midfielder to bail you out and score goals. And that's a big problem for Liverpool, and it has been for many years, that when you don't have when you have a team who stops your attack, you don't have goals from midfield to help you out. And I think that Liverpool either need to sign another attacker in the January window, or a midfielder who can score 10-15 goals regularly. But that's very hard to come by, and very hard to integrate him straight away into the Liverpool style of play. Another problem for Liverpool is that we have such a fine-tuned team and playing style that every time there are injuries or COVID or suspensions or changes in the team, Liverpool's style of play gets disrupted so much that we don't see the same level. On the other hand, Man City can rotate a bunch. They can rotate like 60-70% of their team and still maintain the same high level. Fair play to Man City. They bought a World 11 twice over, so 2 World 11s basically, that's their squad, and Liverpool just don't have that luxury. But we still could be so much closer to Man City had we beaten Leicester, had we beaten Brighton, had we beaten Brentford, teams who were there for the taking, and just Liverpool didn't take advantage. Now we have to hope that either Man City will be hit with COVID, or they suffer a huge loss of form and they lose a couple of games in a month, or they draw a couple of games in a month. And we also have to hope that Liverpool can recover their form. I think we have to beat Chelsea. If we don't beat Chelsea, that's 3 games without a win. We already, in the last 2 game weeks, we already gave Man City a 6-point advantage. They were ahead by 1 point. That became 6 in 2 game weeks. If it becomes 8 or 9 point advantage, it's almost impossible to claw that back, considering how relentless, how perfect Manchester City have been in the last 4 seasons. But that's the challenge for this Jurgen Klopp squad, and I'm eager to find out what this team is made of. The Chelsea-Liverpool game, I think, will be very, very telling. And let's see what kind of Liverpool turn up. Let's see how they perform. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. More videos coming soon, so stay tuned. See you later. Goodbye.